everybody, welcome back to the Garrett 426 channel. Both the cars are in the shop, so you know I'm not having a good day.
So the wheel bearings got out on the bug, and I've kind of known about the wheel bearing going out on the bug, but I've just been putting it off, and then it got really bad, like really bad. In fact, here is a clip from last night, me driving the vehicle. It was recorded on my Galaxy S20, so I don't know if the quality is the same or better than the GoPro, but I apologize, and everything's dark because it was at night. But yeah, listen to how bad this is. That wheel bearing sounds so bad right now. It is so messed up, I can feel it in the steering wheel. And look, it gets worse whenever I turn. Why do I own such shitty cars? Oh yeah, because I like them, I forgot. So yeah, we're replacing that because that is, that's bad. And there are 3 ways that you could do this. The first way is you could go ahead and spend like 250 bucks on a good one. Obviously you can get really cheap versions of it, of the knuckle and hub with the new bearing all put together for you. You just unbolt it and bolt it back in. That's the really expensive way of doing it. Then you have the other 2 options, which is placing the bearing yourself, leaving everything alone, like removing the hub and the knuckle, getting the bearing out of it. And you could use a slide hammer, and I'm going to be using a bushing press that I've been using a lot recently. I love that thing to remove that old bearing. Or you could use a hydraulic press, and that's really all you could do with these. So because there are not that many videos on how to replace a Volkswagen MK4/A4 wheel bearing, I'm gonna do one, especially since all of my bug videos for some odd reason do way better than the Z and the truck combined. Honestly, kind of pathetic. So let's go ahead, jack the car up, take the wheels off, take the brakes off, and get to the hub and start pulling it apart, because this is gonna suck.
And before we get to this awesome, juicy video, I'd like to ask you to please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Content's okay. It's honestly kind of a shit show. This was not planned at all. So yeah, into that kind of stuff. Be working on cars, be fixing cars. I will eventually get to the point to where I'm racing cars. Consider subscribing. So anyways, let's get on with it.
Today just got really fucking expensive. Fucking wonderful. Yay! So as you can see, we have a little bit of a problem. I have destroyed one of my coil springs on my $400 coilovers. Well, I guess we're gonna be getting different coilovers. Yay. Not happy. Why is my car breaking so much? We're still replacing the wheel bearing though. Just keep an eye out for this video. Now here's the part that takes the frickin' ever. And that's proof that this thing's a piece of crap. You're gonna want to keep your snap ring. I had to hammer it out because this sleeve right here, which is my largest one, it's 82 millimeter or a
72 internal millimeter. It wasn't big enough, so yeah, had to hammer it out, but it came out not too terribly bad. I'm just prepping everything to get it ready for the new one. Let's try to get this race off. This is gonna be a bitch. Got that old race off. I understand that that's not necessarily the best way to do it. This vehicle's old, so I don't really care. And these are really cheap, so I also don't really care. Just be more careful than me. It's not going to affect anything. You can see in the past where I've done it. I did go ahead and clean up everything too. Some Scotch-Brite, make sure everything's really nice and clean, so we're pressing it back together, nothing gets in the way. Now let's just go ahead and throw the whole thing together, which should hopefully be very easy. This is what the bearing looks like. It's like one really big giant race, and then on the inside it has two inner races. And when pressing everything together, you want to make sure that you're pressing it together like this. If you try hammering it in, you don't have something on the backside, these two races on the inside will separate, and that will cause you to have wheel bearing failure a lot faster. Try to use some kind of like pressing tool like what I have, or an actual hydraulic press. What's cool too is Volkswagen actually put some lips and whatnot in place just to press these in with a kit like this. I just wish that the bearing was slightly smaller so it could fit my biggest diameter tube, or that I just had a bigger diameter tube. Now that the wheel bearing is in and it is fully seated, we could go ahead and take our snap ring, put it back in place. It doesn't really matter the orientation of it. And if your snap ring doesn't want to go back in place, see, mine went in no problem, that means your bearing's not in all the way. So keep that in mind. If your snap ring doesn't just go right in easily, the bearing is not installed all the way. Now we can put the hub on. Hub's not gonna be that hard, should be pretty easy. Go ahead and get it started a little bit, there we go. Now, we need to make sure we get all of our these guys right here set up correctly. If they're not, bad shit could happen. We don't want bad shit to happen. We're already dealing with bad shit. Now that everything's back together, one for sure way that you know for a fact that the bearing is pressed in correctly is you should not be able to grab this hub and move it at all. And yes, you can do that with a brand new bearing. I found that out on the last one that I did. This should not move at all. Now I do want to state, I have replaced this wheel bearing before. That's why there are certain marks on there from the last one. This one did not fail because I didn't install it correctly. I did learn a lot on the first one and how to do it correctly, but I smacked a curb about a year ago and folded this lower control arm, bent the tie rod. Now the wheel bearing's going out because that usually is what happened. I hit this thing hard, like really hard, you know, distracted driving. And I broke my coilover, which that happened later on. Like the wheel bearing started going out, coilover broke within the last month. So, well, the coilover looks like it's been broke for maybe a week. So, if it's installed correctly, this will not move. There will be zero play. There are no snap rings or anything like that that hold the hub in place. In fact, what actually holds the hub in place is your CV joint. Whenever it comes and pushes it together, it will be pushing against the back side of the bearing and the front side of the hub, sandwiching them together. I would not recommend using it to put them together. You can if you want to. Do that at your own risk. I'm not going to, especially whenever I have the right tools to do all this. And if you want to go ahead and pick up any of these tools, I will put links below. Some of them are not cheap, but they're great for all around. I know for a fact you guys have been seeing me use this thing a lot recently. It works great for bushings and bearings and all kinds of stuff. So now we're gonna go ahead, put everything back together, pretty easy. And I need to go find a new set of coilovers. I wanna go with BC Racing coilovers, but they're currently on back order. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of looking around to see what I can find and replace these. I might actually end up calling the guys that I got this coilover from and see if they'll sell me just a spring. We'll find out. Kind of want to go the cheaper option, but let's go ahead, slap this guy back together, and we'll be done. All right, the wheel bearing is in. The car is on the ground. I'm gonna go check the other spring to make sure it's not broke and make a very, very sketchy, scary drive home. This is gonna be fun. While I'm dealing with all of that, I hope everybody's having a great day. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a big thumbs up. If this helped you out, let me know. And I'm gonna try not to die on my 15-minute drive home with a broken spring that I also found a second spot where it's broke. We'll deal with that as a separate video. But anyways, I'll catch you guys in the next one.